Yeah, we're on. So welcome back, guys, to the JD Unplugged. I'm your host, D, and my co-host.
Jay. I've never referred to myself that way. When I was younger, I would say I'm the J Meister. I remember saying that when I was like 13, 14. But it's like you can't give yourself a nickname. That's not
Yeah.
how the world
Yeah.
works.
Oh,
Yeah.
Never done
But
that.
it's
Yeah.
like if I could choose, that was it. But no, people just called me either Scoot's brother. It's my older brother. Everyone called him Scoot because our last name's Van Lane Scoot.
Yeah.
Or I'm just Joe. I literally never got like a real nickname. So
Not
Well,
not Patrick
like,
Wilson Jr. or anything.
Oh
yeah.
my God, yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah. And oh my gosh. Okay, so I know like we literally are just starting the podcast, but yeah, pre-COVID, because obviously nobody's really seeing my face during the
Yeah,
COVID era,
yeah.
but strangers would come up to me. Like I was a shoe salesman for a bit, and I would have lunch like in the Burlington Mall
Mhm.
food court, and
Okay, yeah, yeah.
random people would come up to me. They would like show me their phone and be like, "Hey, anyone ever tell you look like this guy?" Just a picture of Patrick Wilson. I'm like, "What the fuck, man? Come on." So
Yeah.
that is, yeah, it's like it got to a point where I just put that in my profile. I'm like,
That's
I'm
hilarious.
just a lookalike, I guess. I don't know. I'm my own person, but I just so happen to look like an actor. Yeah.
So we also have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
my
Yeah, yeah.
name
Yeah.
is Thaddeus, aka the Tea Meister. But
Nice. Yeah.
I did go by TJ as a kid. It's my name is Jonathan, but just generally I just go by Thaddeus. Not really any other variation on it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, I know Joe from I guess working on a film or sorry TV show with him recently. I guess left the TV show this Friday, but prior to that we were together on the show for about what since October is it?
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So that's a long time. And
yeah.
yeah, I'd say I'm just sorry that I never like talked to you enough. I feel like I don't talk to anybody. So the people I
Well,
talked to the most was like you and Ryan before he left,
oh yeah.
and Claire, obviously Claire and Mary, because it's like those
Hmm.
are the two that I'm always communicating with the most,
Hmm.
and that's basically it.
Yeah.
So it's just because like I'm like the crazy one of the crew where I'm just like I don't want to be inside. I don't trust any of you guys. Like I always have the shield on. I've mentioned this before on the podcast where I'm
Yeah.
basically like a COVID
Joe's
nut where I'm
terrified.
like I don't trust anybody. Like don't come near me. I like try to spend as little time with people as possible.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Obviously,
No
right? Like
problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
we appreciate it because this is like a chance for us to actually like have a full conversation that lasts more than 2 seconds before we
Yeah,
start
for sure.
recording. But yeah,
Definitely.
so thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, I'm just trying to think of what the first topic we can talk about is because Darren and I both have had things happen in our life this past week that have
Oh,
been kind of exciting or newsworthy stuff. So we could jump
Um,
into that, but I guess yeah, we
it's up
would
to you.
start with Thaddeus. You were just mentioning very quickly that we are no longer working together. So what
mhm.
would you want to talk about that? Like maybe what you do and
Okay.
where kind of the trajectory of where you're going now.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I've been in the film industry for close to 5 years now, and it's just, I mean, ideally, like I had like the lofty aspirations, like being a director, and
Oh,
everything,
nice. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
all that. And it's just like, I mean, wouldn't have minded, but it's just like the steps you take to get there. It's never an easier, clear cut path.
Mm. Oh, yeah. I've noticed
And
that the hard way, where it's like it is
yeah,
impossible to open some doors. Like, yeah,
yeah,
takes a
Well,
yeah.
it seems like that way unless you know people, right? Which is
yeah,
like hard
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
to
A
get to
lot
totally.
of
know
it's
people.
almost you have to in a way be a politician.
Yeah,
Like you
literally.
kind
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all about professional friendships. It's very
professional
strange. Yeah,
friendships and like
just
a
gotta
lot of
play the
social
game.
climbing, and it's like
Yeah.
generally, I mean, I'd say I'm a fairly like, introverted guy, kind of. I mean, as you know, I'm the guy on this show. I was on the top floor
You're
of
always up in
the
the attic. Yeah.
at the attic, and I was just there on my own. And then people are always like, "Don't you get alone? Don't you get? Doesn't that like bug you?" I'm like, no, I kind of love
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's funny because I would literally love that too.
yeah.
Being in that role. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm by nature like I think I'd say like I'm generally polite when people talk to me. I'm friendly. But I don't generally go out of my way to get into social situations with people.
Yeah,
And
true.
so that was kind of a challenge. But also, I just kind of feel like it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was as rewarding as a career as was looking for, and I guess also I felt like I guess reached my peak in terms of what I wanted out of the industry. So I decided to leave it. I mean, prior to even working in the industry, I had been working as an editor for private investigators. So that was like that was kind of my bread and butter. So this was kind of like a bonus thing. Is first was something I kind of wanted to transition into, but then now I'm kind of out of it. So I'm doing that, and I'm kind of looking more to going into computer programming as my either side hustle or next step in my career. So that's what I've been transitioning to since the beginning of this year. I've been kind of studying coding and working that direction.
Yeah, nice, nice.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
yeah.
That's like magic. It's like of the many things that I just know I could never do, one of them
Really?
is working like in programming or
Oh,
anything
how
where I'm
come?
just like I can't even begin. Well, I don't know because obviously one you have to have an interest in that kind of thing, right? So that's something where I appreciate it, but I would like I've never had that inclination. But also I usually always refer to like dancing or cooking where it's like I enjoy music and I love like the art of cooking or dancing, but it's like I would never even be able to start because like it's just magic. It's like I don't know how they do it or what the trick is or whatever, but it's like I something in my brain is just like it doesn't connect where I'm just like, I hear a great song and I don't get that urge to dance or like if I smell good food or if I like have something that's delicious, I never get the urge to try to make it myself. Like I'll just continue
That's
doing takeout or I'll just, sit down and enjoy music.
that's kind of where I've
So
been the opposite. Like I've always felt like when I love something, I want to do my own. So it's always been like that. Like I've always said, well, I love movies, so I love to make my own. I love like I love books, so I like to write my own book. I love video games, so I like to make my own game. Like I always kind of wanted to, and even like since I was like 5, I'd like say I'm gonna make a game, and then I just like write a book. Like I would like draw pictures, and I like draw the screens or something, and like say this is the level and things like. So I've always liked the idea of if I love something, I want to make my own. That's kind of how that's been my overall look with it.
Yeah, and I guess
Yeah,
that's what's led to
Cool.
this trajectory in your career path that you've chosen,
yeah.
right? Is literally that. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
nice, nice.
So, did you have a question?
I was gonna say, could you elaborate more on your bread and butter prior
So,
I am interested in that
investigate? I
too.
don't know. I
Yeah.
just want to
oh,
hear
for
a little
sure.
bit more into that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So that was the job I got pretty much right out of university. Like maybe like 3 years after graduating, it was like the typical struggle of just like I have nothing. Like like living on a $50 like food budget, and like I gotta find food. Like I gotta find a job, anything, and it's like looking for every
Yeah.
kind of job in my field. Like obviously, I went to school for media production, so I was looking for something along the lines of that. And then eventually, I finally found this job that said it's looking for somebody who can work in like Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Audition, etc. And it didn't really describe what the job was, but I said, "Hey, I know all this, so I'll do it." I applied, and maybe 2 weeks later, I got an email, and just kind of like it was like kind of vague. It was like, "Hey, we have this file where two people are talking. You want to see if anyone's doctored it?" And I was like, "Okay, sure. I can try doing it." It was almost like a test.
It's
And
crazy.
then
Yeah, it's like the
yeah,
hero's journey. It's this
yeah,
mysterious like
yeah,
doors opening and it's up to you if you want to go through it. That's crazy.
yeah. So like I did that, and like okay, then I guess they liked it, and then they said, "All right, well, come. We have something else for you. Come to this address." And then it was like it's like I went to it. It's like further out in Toronto, and then when I looked at it, like when I got there, it's just like a strip mall. I'm like, it's just stores. I'm like, where's the thing? And I called and they said, oh, we'll come and get you. So it's like above it, there are like offices in there, but the
Yeah.
sign for that outside for the office is just like a sign saying space for rent or something. So
No
it's like
kidding.
totally,
Yeah.
totally hidden and nondescript. So yeah, so I got that.
Okay.
And like since then like they had me doing all their like stuff like it's like it entails a lot of things through the years. Like it was primarily working with audio and video. Like so like with video, for example, the first thing I ever did was like a wife stepping out or cheating on her husband,
Oh
and,
my
and it
gosh,
was like
that's so
super
classic. Yeah. That's
yeah.
nuts. That's what you think of. That's the
Yeah.
stereotype of why
So
people lie to
classic.
guys. Yeah. Oh my
It was,
god.
so, it was like dark and grainy, so they wanted me to kind of like find ways of like cleaning it up.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's
That's
like
nuts.
that.
That's so
Cool.
crazy. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It
Nice.
is because
Wow,
it's
that's
like
really
I've
interesting.
never known of that existing in real life. Like obviously it's based on real
Yeah.
life. It's not like someone just made up PIs back in the day. It's like it's real for a reason, but that's crazy. And so what is that was that store in Toronto or is that kind of across the GTA?
So okay, I mean their main office, they have a main office downtown Toronto. This the place where I was, it was their lab.
Okay, nice.
So that was kind of further out, and so initially I had to go there because like I guess they said they wanted to make sure, or I guess certain contract they had to have us on camera doing the work all the time.
Sure.
It's like
So
very
it's almost like an
specific.
NDA thing where they got to
Yeah.
make sure that you don't like, just take it for
Yeah.
yourself.
And it's like that, and yeah, they do the criminal background check and everything. So, but yeah, so I had to do that at first, but then eventually they let me do it remotely. So yeah, so since then it's been primarily doing it from doing it at home, and like even when I was on the show, I was doing I could do a lot just on set, so I was like getting paid like for two jobs at once sometimes.
Yeah. Nice.
And yeah,
Cool.
so I've been doing that kind of stuff. I do the video editing. I've done cases that can range from cheating spouses to like people that like pocketing money on the job to
Right, yeah.
murders. Like I've done a few
Oh my,
murder
yeah,
cases.
you've actually done that. Oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's the kind of thing where it's like people don't think of
Wow.
Canada as a place where murders happen, you know? It's
Yeah.
like
I
if that
love
happens,
it.
it's like a huge news story,
I
but
love
Yeah.
there
good
must
murder
be murders
case.
that happen all the time, right? It's just kind of low key.
I
Yeah.
Oh
love
my
a good
gosh,
murder
that's crazy.
case.
Wow.
Oh my
Love the
goodness,
murder
yes,
case,
please. I love a good murder case. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. It's my
Like I
favorite.
don't think
Wow.
I'd be able to. I can't like say names, but I can probably like
No,
say.
we wouldn't want you to, because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't want to get you in any kind of
And
situation,
like, I'm
but
not trying to
still.
get murdered either.
There you go. Yeah.
As soon as you say
Right after
FBI's
this.
murder you, they just come out. Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh,
But
it's
sorry.
in the NDA. We gotta take you out. Yeah. Oh
yeah.
my God. It's wild though. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah,
So nice.
that's
Yeah. You're kind of.
awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, and
That
there's
is.
one other aspect of it, which is sweeps.
Okay. Yeah.
So we go into office buildings, sometimes houses, but quite frequently we'll go into office buildings, and they can range from like say just like a corporation to like a political office to a law office, whatever. Who wants to come in and look for hidden like listening devices, hidden cameras and things like that, and we go in with we come in with like suitcases of all these different gadgets, and then we go in and we like
Oh, that's so
look throughout the
fun.
whole house with all this stuff.
Yeah. That's wild. That's so
Yeah.
cool. So they put you in
So
the field. You're
wild.
not just like on a
Yeah.
computer. Yeah. You
Dude,
get to
that's
go
wild.
out in
That's
cases.
wild.
Yeah. That's so cool. Oh my
That's
gosh.
sick.
Yeah. That's
Oh my
nuts.
god, that's so cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
All up in the walls.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's honestly so cool.
Oh
For
my god,
whatever
it's all
reason,
up
that
in the
might be
walls
right.
because you
Yeah.
just never know. You need like it's just you never know. You just never
Yeah.
know. You
Oh,
just
for
never
sure.
know. Like
Yeah.
literally, it's like the options are literally endless when that comes to
What could
that
be out
stuff.
there? Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they get
love it.
craftier with what they can use too, right? Like the most recent one I've seen are like cell phone charging cables or the
Oh,
charging
no
stations for
kidding. Yeah,
cell
just
phones. Yeah,
adapting to whatever the current
yeah,
technology is.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, my only
it's
understanding of hidden stuff is like from the 80s, from the Cold War. So it's like kind of crude, like wires kind of coming out of like outlets and stuff like that. But yeah, it makes sense that they would adapt to the times, right?
Mhm,
Hide it in charging cables. Yeah.
they're like
That's so,
miniature and they're like in everything. Like it's crazy.
mhm.
yeah, it's
So,
nuts.
yeah,
Been like
Okay,
it's
so
nuts, yeah.
now this is kind of a segue that
sure.
makes sense what we're talking about. So your bread and butter is focused in Toronto and the entertainment industries in Toronto and all that kind of stuff, right? Obviously, you can work from anywhere aside
Mhm.
from in instances when you're going into the field, but as far as our locations go, without giving away too much, but just saying the general city,
Okay, so
we're both. I didn't necessarily ask you, but were you born and raised in Burlington as well?
no,
Oh,
born
you
and
weren't.
raised, yeah, born in Hamilton.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. So just kind of
so
inching
yeah,
towards.
so born in Hamilton, moved to America for pretty much like for half my childhood, I'd say, and then I came back to Canada for my last year of high school, and
Whoa, that
then
must be jarring.
yeah,
Literally
it
just
was
for your last year? That's
yeah,
crazy.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Came back for my last year of high school, and then obviously like, for university and everything. Yeah, so I did that, and then I only moved to Burlington. I moved to Burlington about 5 years ago because my girlfriend lives here, and it's kind of moved into her house. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Oh,
yeah,
that's the great way to do it. Nice.
yeah.
So what is she like a Burlingtonian or
Actually,
did
no,
she just?
she's from a farm town, like way out, like
Oh,
Elmer.
true. Okay. So she moved to Burlington just for accessibility, I guess,
Well, yeah,
right?
because she has an accounting job in Hamilton, and I guess she moved here for yeah It's like the
Yeah,
best
that's
spot's kind
nice.
of a close, but a little out of Hamilton too. So
It's yeah, you still get to have your own place. It's not like you're just where you work. Yeah,
yeah,
nice. That's
exactly.
really cool. Because yeah, you never, or at least I never hear of people going to Burlington specifically to
Yeah,
live. I just hear of
that's
people leaving Burlington because it's like you would like go to Hamilton or Toronto if you're from Burlington. So it's funny
yeah,
how it's like the opposite in this case.
yeah.
But nice, cool. So yeah, because for me, born and raised in Burlington, so it's
Okay.
kind of really boring because it's literally only in November did I finally move out. So now I live in Toronto, so I'm a
Mhm.
Torontonian. But
Okay.
or I don't know if I should call myself that. I
Just
feel like I
saying
should
that,
wait a year before I
Torontonian.
can officially
Yeah,
say
yeah.
I'm a
I think you
Torontonian.
need to wait a
I'm
year.
still a
We need to. It's like
Burlingtonian.
getting
Yeah, yeah,
your
yeah, yeah. It's
citizenship.
a year
It's
thing.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
path of citizenship right now.
I'm
Yeah.
still very fresh in the big city, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But nice, nice. So yeah, yeah. So that's your background. And now, Darren, I got a question for you. Where the heck are you right now? What is going on?
Oh.
You were in Dave and Buster's last we saw you. You were
Yeah.
helping with
Yeah.
the remark.
Now
What's
I'm
going
out
on?
in the wilderness. I'm out in the
Yeah.
wilderness with this tooth. I'm trying to find my tooth.
Oh my gosh! Right. Okay. So it's location
So
specific. Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to find my tooth and no luck still.
Well,
But
can you
what can you do?
give us an update on that? Last we talked to you, you
Yeah,
were
so
going under the knife.
the teeth were brutal as heck.
Yeah.
It was the worst experience. Remember, I don't know what it is. I don't know why I just get so nervous, but it was just the worst experience
It
ever.
is spooky, but yeah. So well, you
But
told
I
me
watch
that.
people getting it done, and like people are just sitting there chilling. Like I watch it
What?
on YouTube, like
Don't do
chilling.
that. You're like preparing yourself to be
No, I
anxious.
watched it after. I watch it after.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, like maybe like yesterday, 2 days ago. I watched
Okay.
videos of them, and like literally they're just okay. First, let me tell you this story. So essentially, I went to get my wisdom teeth removed,
Okay.
but I didn't get them all removed. I only got one removed.
Oh, seriously? No kidding.
One.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Because
okay,
it has to
yeah.
like the way they are. That it has to be like on a certain side first, and then I have to do another side for it to like heal or some shit. I don't know. It's complicated. By this point, I wasn't even like coherent. I don't even know what they're saying. I'm like, So
They drug you before they explained it to you.
I don't even know. I just like I pull up in the parking lot. I'm blacked out. Like I'm
No,
I have this
just
super bad phobia.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I have a huge super bad phobia of like needles and like just like things in like jars and like biohazard things on the wall and shit. So when we go into like I go in whatever, she's like explaining all this stuff, and I'm just like I have a phobia of like needles, and she's like, yeah, that's no problem. Da, da, da. She puts the numbing stuff in my mouth, and what I noticed is like she puts the numbing stuff on the like outside of my gum, so like
Oh.
the
Inside of the lip.
so it's like touching lip and gums, like it's in there. That's how it's touching.
Okay, so she kind of
Right?
wrong.
Well, which is like I don't know, is that right or wrong? I don't know. So like that's in my mouth.
That's where they injected. Yeah.
That's what I'm when I'm watching
Oh,
when I'm
God,
watching
so
the
she
videos
literally
yesterday or the other day.
Yeah.
Anyways, besides the point, I have it in my mouth. It's in there, and it's like getting numb. Like it's actually like I can feel my cheek getting a little numb. Da, 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 da. It's like okay, cool, it's numb, but like it's not like the numbest. I'm expecting way more numbness. I'm like they need to like give me like the 100% numbness. I want this whole thing gone before I'm even. Anyways, just that point, he does the one on. He does like an inject. I think maybe he does two on the outside of my mouth, which is like obviously like inside my mouth, but on the outside of the gums. Right? So he does two, and I'm like, I don't really feel anything. And then he does three on the inside. And I felt those. And I thought, I'm like, why did she fucking put numbing stuff on the inside?
Yeah.
If I'm getting three on the inside.
She's like,
anyways,
you only paid for half of the numbing, so you're going to have to feel the needles.
I'm just like, even if I knew, I would have rubbed it on the inside. That's what I'm thinking. God. I should have watched the video prior. I'm thinking if I watched the video prior, I would have known. But I didn't because I was scared. Anyways, besides the point, they leave the room and they leave me in with like the thing in my mouth, da, 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 da. And then both injections have been done on both sides. The girl comes in and out, which is I guess the dental assistant. My actual dentist is a male. My dental assistant's a female. She comes in and out. She's like, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, yeah, I think. My seat at this point is completely down. When it should be up.
You're prepared.
Like it's completely down. So I'm sitting up. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, whatever. I lay down, and then next thing you know, I'm waking up, and I'm like, where the fuck am I? Like, I'm just completely like, it was the weirdest
thing. It just
it was so weird. I was like, what the freaking heck? Like,
Yeah.
I literally went like blacked out. I just blacked out.
Yeah.
So like I'm waking up and I'm like, what's going on? I didn't even know where I was at first, and she was like, "Are you okay?" I start sweating so much. Like you would not believe how much sweat.
Yeah.
Like I was wearing like a really dark blue like shirt and then like a blue sweater over it.
Sure.
The blue sweater, like my whole back, you can just see the whole back of my sweater wet, the whole front of my stomach wet. I was wearing like super like baggy like black croc pants. They were like soaked, like just soaked in sweat. Because I passed out. Then the doctor came in and he was like, "Oh, you look like are you okay? Like that. We'll take some time. All this stuff, yada yada." I'm like, I'm gonna puke. I'm gonna freaking puke.
Wait. So did they do it or not do it? They must have done it while you were under, right?
But no.
So literally you passed out like while they were preparing and then they come back in.
Fainted, yeah, I fainted.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Me, like we're gonna let the injection sit in for like 7 minutes. Or so. Let it get numb.
Oh my gosh.
But at that point, when I'm sitting there and no one's in the room, I'm like, what's going on? That hurt so bad. And then I just blacked out and I woke like, and then she's coming in and I guess like I had woken up as she's coming in and she's like, "Are you all right?" Because I was just so dizzy and like sweating. She gave me napkins and then I threw up in a garbage.
Oh no! Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah.
So now, thankfully, I like only had like a small piece of cake and like a couple glasses of juice, so it wasn't like anything like super heavy or anything. Thankfully.
Yeah. And anyways, then so how does it end?
After that, they're like, okay, they gave me like 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I finally like got to like my senses. They freaking yanked the tooth out. It was the worst experience of my life. Like I don't know how anyone just goes through that and just like.
Well, so what did you feel it? So you were awake for it or what?
And I didn't feel it, but you can still feel them like pulling the tooth out of your mouth.
Yeah. That's what I was telling you about the last episode. Because they numb the area, so you don't feel it getting yanked out, but you can feel your jaw being pulled. So you can feel all the nerves like around your jaw. You can feel it. Yeah.
Oh, it's getting yanked, and I'm just like, but why would they be awake for this? I don't understand.
You got to pay extra for to put you under anesthesia.
What? I would if I did known that I would have paid for that shit. I just thought they
didn't ask me either. They literally didn't even give me the option either. They just did it while I was awake.
It's like I'm literally like in bed like terrified now. I'm like freaking like having nightmares and shit. I'm like so scared now.
And yeah. So they only pulled one tooth, and that was back on Tuesday.
Yeah, and now I have to go.
Time.
I'm like, are you serious? No, I'm going under every time. I don't care. Now I'm saying I need to go under because I can't. I cannot.
Yeah. I'm not doing it awake. Yeah.
My mouth.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Thing.
And then they took the tooth and then threw it into the dark woods and said, "You have to find it." Now that's why you are where you are.
Okay, I did, and then
they're like, the tooth fairy will give you $100 for this tooth, and then they just chucked it. They're like, "You gotta find it."
They chucked it into the set of a Tim Burton film.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wait. So, it was the worst.
What is the background? Because the Thaddeus is saying it's Tim Burton. I'm feeling it's a little like an evil part of Middle Earth.
It's just like I would say it's an evil part of the Earth.
Yeah. Wow. There you go. Well, okay, so now I got to tell you guys. So you look behind me, you might be thinking, "Oh, that's cute. I guess Blockbuster. You found the remnants of one." But remember, I did go back in time. I'm pre-global warming being an issue. I'm pre-Donald Trump. I'm pre-COVID. I'm living in the magical year of 2001. Unfortunately, we did not find that space rectangle that, Stanley Kubrick was talking about, but 2001 is still a pretty cool place. Last time we had talked, Derron, I was planning on sneaking into NASA so that I could take a rocket and try to find a wormhole to bring me back to present day. Right? Yeah. That was the original plan.
So wait.
That's still the main plan, but I kind of got sidetracked. Last you saw me, I was in California. I was hanging out with the people from the OC. Apparently that wasn't a fake show. That was real. And now I found myself at a Blockbuster. I'd been in there the last 3 days. The employees know me very well. They don't exactly like me, but it's easy to get distracted by stuff in 2001. Well, what is that, Derron? What is that?
I got a dog.
You got a dog? What? That's insane news. What?
Little
got
bamboo.
a dog?
Yeah, I made this shirt for her too.
You got a dog.
No, I had her before. I'm pretty sure. I mentioned.
Never knew.
I don't know what she's doing now. Like I've had her for maybe a month.
That's incredible. I did not know that.
Wild, yo, she's wild.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Diva, too. She needs so much attention.
That's amazing. Look at that little guy. What's the breed?
She's a Chihuahua.
Just a purebred Chihuahua.
Yeah, she's just a purebred Chihuahua. She just shakes.
Just a beautiful Mexican Chihuahua.
And there's nothing more than that. She just shakes, barks. That's it.
That sounds like a Chihuahua. Chihuahuas are shakers and barkers. Wow. Oh my god, Darren, that's incredible.
Yeah, she's tiny.
Oh, I'm blown away. That's the most shocking thing. You just picked up a dog. I'm like, Darren, what is that?
She just came in out of nowhere. She's gone now. She's
oh my god,
gone.
wow.
See ya.
Oh, that's incredible.
Okay, but continue with your story. Jeez.
No, that's not.
Sorry.
That's all, I'm distracted. All I'll say is by next week, I promise you, whether I'm in jail or wherever, I will find access to the internet. We will do our podcast, and I will tell you whether or not the NASA thing worked. If I was able to find a spaceship and secretly head off to try to find a wormhole to head back to our modern times. But the real question is, should I do that? That's my current motivation. But do I really want to go back to early 2021? COVID's still kind of heavy. Not exactly the best place to be in.
If you both can agree, I would say, to be honest, where you're at right now is when times was good. When it's can my friends sleep over? Can we rent a movie? Can we rent a game? Can we order pizza? And
go to Blockbuster, you get all those things. Oh yeah, you can rent whatever game you want.
That's the best. Sleepovers, friends sleeping over, pizza, N64.
It's the best technology. Yeah.
Whatever it's at. I don't know what depending on where you're at. What year are you?
2001. Yeah. So the first Lord of the Rings movie just came in. So I'm excited for the rest to come out. 2002, 2003. Nothing but good stuff is coming. Yeah. George Bush is president, and something else. It's not September yet, so.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Actually, yeah. Maybe I should.
2001 isn't as rosy as you remember.
Something about that. Oh no. Okay, I'm just not gonna think about it right now, but maybe I should do something about it. It's still the current month. So you guys are experiencing February of 2021. I'm experiencing February of 2001. So we're 20 years apart, but there's still time. or I just leave. I just abandon all those problems. I don't know. Oh my gosh. It's the modern version of if you were to go back in time to when Hitler was a baby, do you kill baby Hitler,
Yeah.
It's a difficult question to ask somebody, I don't know if I'm up for, what can I do to change the past? Oh my gosh. Okay, well anyway. That's a me problem. You guys don't have to worry about that. You're just living in our current timeline. So
yeah.
Well, speaking of current times, how are you both handling a little bit of the lockdown? I know you're kind of not really on a lockdown because you guys are in the film industry, but it's still you can't go out and eat and stuff like this with your girlfriends, for instance, or you can't go see a movie. How are you managing?
So yeah, I mean, again, as you mentioned, the film industry wasn't that affected, so it didn't feel too different.
Which is good, right?
Yeah, exactly. But outside of that, I mean, I used to go to the gym 3 times a week, and that's just kind of been a thing that isn't an option anymore. I mean, it's been like that since last year, and at first I was like, I'll wait it out. I can miss a few months.
Miss a few months, never get it.
Yeah, but then it was it was 4 months or something before I was able to go again. And then when I started going again, it just didn't feel right. It was they had all the procedures now. You can only do an hour at a time, and then it takes time to clean up. So now I've had to pretty much make my basement the gym. I had to buy I bought a bunch of workout equipment, and I mixed. So between that and a Ring Fit, I guess have my own home gym, and I kind of just been making it work. So that's a big thing. Movie theaters I don't know. I didn't like going to theaters that much because generally the audiences are kind of often terrible. But I like going
it's not
to
worth
TIFF.
it. Yeah.
TIFF was my big thing every year. I thought it was kind of like my vacation almost for every year. Like I always had like it's set. I'd always get up the like a package for Tiff movies on my birthday for my birthday every year.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Wait,
Yeah.
wait. So when's your birthday? What month?
August.
Okay, true. So yeah,
Yeah, so
it makes
like,
sense
like
that
before,
someone would be able to give you that. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, the
awesome.
packages are purchased like in May, but it's like it's just to say, well, this is for your birthday preemptively. So
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
yeah, so I would get TIFF
That's
packages
nice.
every year, and I'd always go. Like last year, they had it, but it was like limited, and they had digital screenings, so it was like I essentially only watched a few movies at home. It wasn't the same feel at all. So
Yeah.
so it's like that. I mean, kind of have to adjust. Kind of, it's like a lot of things. It's like extra steps. You go out to go get groceries, and it's like it's like, oh shit, I forgot my mask. Got to run home. Almost every time. I'm like halfway at the door. It's like, oh, I got to run back. Even going to work, it's like I got my keys, phone, wallet. Oh, mask. So there's always
become
that.
the new accessory. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's annoying, but...
Yeah, it's changed. I've adapted overall. Like I'm not too bad at it. I guess another big thing is that my girlfriend used to go to the office for work,
Okay.
and like the basement was like my work from home space.
Mm-hmm.
So like this place, like the house, it's like it's a 2-story condo, but it's not like super large. So like it's the thing where it's like there's no real outlet space that she could really have for her workspace. And now we share the workspace, and it's like, I kind of need like a man needs a space. So that's kind of a thing where it's changed a lot too, where I've had to adjust to that and kind of looking to move now as well. So I find a house that will accommodate both of our needs. So
yeah, true, yeah. It's like a stereotype, but like in no bad way. But like anybody who's in the general area of Hamilton or Burlington or something who wants to buy like a house, like your own kind of block thing, you just go to Stony Creek. You know, that's like the go-to move. Everybody I've known, they all just go to Stony Creek.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Hamilton, like houses in Hamilton are just like insane. Like when you move back here, like the house we got, my parents got was I think is like a 2,600 square foot house in Hamilton Mountain for 210,000, and now like the houses in that neighborhood are like 900,000 now.
Oh my, yeah, the inflation is insane. It makes no sense.
Wild,
We've become the new BC. Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
How did that? They just decided one day. Realtors were like, let's just become richer than we've ever been before for no reason. Let's just artificially inflate the prices of houses. It's awful. It makes no sense. Like they literally just did it because they wanted to.
Yeah, and it's like it's got to burst. Like it's like I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm literally waiting on that. That's why I got an apartment instead of a house. It's like I'd like to invest in a house, but I literally can't because I'm not a millionaire. I can't afford, unless I become a millionaire. You know, I'm working in the film industry, so it'd be nice if that might happen one day. But I don't think it is.
Actually, so if I can ask you a question, what's your end game in the film industry?
Oh, well. I mean, Derron knows this. A bunch of the,
I see what you mentioned in other episodes.
I will say this. I'll give you like a semi-summary starting after high school. So I finished high school, start working in the labor industry, but I've always been creative and I've wanted to, I didn't have a direct thing. I just knew that I wanted to do it. So like when I was like in grade 7 and 8, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a director and stuff. And like even earlier that I was like, oh, I want to be an actor. But then like by the time I was 6 or 7, I was like, I'm way too shy. I'm not going to be an actor. So I was like, I'll be a director. And then in high school, I took like comm tech. And so I was like making short films and stuff. And then when I finished high school, I was like working landscaping and random stuff like that. But I was like, I'm just going to wait a year, then go to college. And then I went to college and it was Niagara College for film, television, and radio broadcasting. But I had a girlfriend at the time and like we broke up because of long distance relationship. And I was so depressed that I literally just dropped out. And so I was just like, oh, what am I doing with my life? And then also just like genetics wise, I just so happened to have a predisposition for like alcohol. And so like I kind of disappeared into that world where I was like working late and just being like a full blown alcoholic. And so it took me like 6 years to dig myself out of that. So by that point, I'm now like an adult. Like it wasn't until I was 25 where I was finally like, something's got to give. Or I'm saying that I think I've been 26 or just before 26.
Okay.
So like I finally quit, and then as soon as I quit, I was like, why am I working this job that I've been working for the past 2 years? Like I don't care about being like a delivery driver for meat. So I quit that job and I was like, I'm gonna work in the film industry, like what I've always wanted to do. But I have no formal education. and I don't even try to find something, but I just know, oh, it's the gig economy. You just look for stuff and find it. So the weird thing is, I found something super quick after I quit my job, but then I didn't find anything for like 3 months, and I was like really stressing. I was like, I have backup money, but it's not going to last me long. Like I can't just go a year without work. Like that's impossible. So the funny thing is the first like Canadian job I got, because before that it was like this American thing and they were just doing an episode in Canada. It was for this film Hysteria that Claire was being that was like her first solo producer job, I guess, like without her parents.
Right.
And so that was my first experience just in that world. And then after that, I was like getting little things here and there. And then it sustained me to this point, right? So like I started that back in September of 2019. Okay. And so I've lasted so far. Like I was able to get my own place. So that's something, right?
Yes,
I did take advantage of the fact that everybody was leaving Toronto because of COVID, so the prices went down for apartments.
Good to call, yeah.
That helped a lot. Like that literally almost halved the actual price of rentals and stuff.
Okay.
Almost, I should say a third. Like that. But like
it's still
a
significant
amount. I was like, this is definitely the time to get a place, even though it's risky. So. Yeah, and so my end game for working in the film industry is I've written 4 books now, and I plan to write 6 for like this series, like this sci-fi tale called The True Volition Hexology. And aside from eventually wanting to turn those into movies, because I kind of write them visually, I don't really write them like a book. Like they're almost novellas. They're kind of, they're movie length. I just generally want to do writing. And so actually that's part of the news of what's happened to me this past week is I contacted someone through Facebook, like back in like August of 2020, and we had been talking and stuff. And he's this guy in Atlanta, and he's had like a lot of ideas for films and stuff, but English isn't his first language, so he wanted help. He wanted someone to collaborate with him and write. So I have been doing that, and we just got the rough cut of the short film that we had written.
Cool. Yeah.
So I now have a project under my belt, and we've also now written a feature-length film. So he's creating the pitch deck for it now to try to give to a producer that funds small-budget horror films. So we'll see if that goes somewhere. But I'm starting to. Even if it doesn't, it's been an amazing experience, right? So I'm not going to set myself up for disappointment if it doesn't. If nothing comes of it, that's totally fine. But it's still being able to do this thing has been really exciting. So that's where I'm currently at. So that's been my news for this week, is that he sent me the rough cut on Vimeo. And I'm like, oh my God, because I'm watching all of these like adult actors say words that I've written, and it's like the first script that I've ever written. And I'm like, what this is so insane. Like, what is this? Like, it's so surreal, because I'm like literally, I just started doing this. Like, it's just, I mean, I'd written novels for years, so I guess that kind of, it's not like I'm just starting to write, but I'm just starting to script write, right?
But the whole thing of seeing your words coming to life, it's definitely
that's something you would never experience with novels. It's so it's so weird, because it's like, because they're taking their own spin on it, right? Like they're acting, like using mannerisms that maybe you weren't thinking about when you were writing it, but you're like, oh, but that's still good, obviously, right? Because they're like making it their own thing to try to make the acting as possible. Yeah, it's just weird. So that's what I'm currently doing, and but then I'm still working on the kid show, so I have a contract until June, because I'm pretty sure that's their plan of when the season's going to end.
I mean, I feel like it's going to go a little longer than that.
Oh, you think so? Yeah. Okay.
Well, because they threw out, I think, 3 months of work, didn't they? I guess they don't feed it, but yeah. I'm
outside of it because I'm a PA, so don't tell me anything.
I was like originally the only person who was like a sole survivor. Like I was there right from the first day of production.
No kidding. Yeah.
And then everybody else there is like came in later than me. So like everyone was pretty much, it was like almost like being an immortal and like living through different time periods.
Yeah, and seeing all these people live and die and live and die, and you're just watching all it happen.
It's like every single person has changed. But so now with my position being on now it's official that everyone has been replaced.
It's a completely new thing.
At least once. Yeah. But so we started in August, and it wasn't so, and we had a different DP up until October, I think.
Right, which is literally when I started. That's so weird that I'm part of the new wave. It's like I'm the new generation. It's so weird. And then we lost that DP shortly after too.
No, that was that's the same DP. The Chris well, yeah, Christine. Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah, so she was the first DP, and then the new DP, the second DP is the one who's been. So it's only been two so far. But yeah, so between them, I think we didn't switch footage until even after that. So we had, I think it was until December. So December is when we actually started shooting episodes. So everything before December was just tossed away.
Oh, I thought they were saying it's all filler. Like they'll still use it for between shots.
They said some of them. Some of the things even before that they said like they didn't like the camera angles. Like they said that it wasn't high enough or low enough. For example, like sometimes they want perspective of like the creatures essentially, right? Mm-hmm. So they had to go a little higher. Before it was a little too high. Now they kind of they wanted the camera that goes low. So that's
wanted to be more level instead of looking down. Yeah.
Yeah. So
which is so difficult to do because it's like I'm pretty sure it's because the cameras that we were using physically couldn't get lower.
So the lens is like there's like body and then the lens like that high above it. So
yeah, nuts. Oh my god.
So
I can't believe that. So everything up until that point before we went episodic is just being tossed. That's so insane.
All in the trash bin, essentially. Like
right. I mean, obviously, they'd like to salvage anything they can, but true.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that I'd heard kind of behind the scenes was just that the animators at this point don't know what they're going to do. So there's going to be a meeting, and then we'll just figure out what happens.
I'm not surprised. It's been a learning process. Like it was a lot rougher at the start. Like it was just like they're like. A lot of I guess clashing between the live action crew and the animation crew. A lot of times, like they didn't really necessarily no side knew exactly how to approach things. Yeah. So it's still getting there. I feel like it's a lot smoother there. So again, I give Claire credit to that too, or for that, where it's like it's more managed. Like I know the PM before that, I think she moved to a different position in the film, but I guess it wasn't her bag. She always seemed stressed out. She didn't seem to enjoy that aspect as much. So I guess she brought Claire on to do it. And since then it's more managed. So
it's getting there slowly but surely. But still, you obviously had. I think you made the right move. I mean, you should be constantly trying to challenge yourself and do different things.
Yeah. So yeah. But I mean, overall, what I'll say is that you're like you should be, as long as you're okay there. I think you should be happy to know that you'll probably have work beyond June. Like, there's no way. And I think I also heard they extended the season or something. Or they got more episodes ordered, so it can probably take you into the end of the year. I have no idea though.
No kidding. Right? Yeah. Well, so my idea in the back of my head is I guess I'm not necessarily happy. It's either boring or stressful. So it's unfortunate in that sense, but it hasn't gotten to a point where I'm like, I need to quit. But I'm just doing it for the bread and butter. But
it was boring to me, and it's like every day was just me like counting down to get out
until it's over. Yeah.
Like every day on the way over, there's a song by 9 Inch Nails called "Every Day Is Exactly the Same," and I just I'd always play that at least once a day. On the way,
it's like ritualistic,
Yeah, like the lyrics were pretty much my life. It's like if it were a movie, it'd be so spot on. They'd be corny, but those are like exactly
real life. I mean, hey, what are movies based off of, right? What are cliches based off of?
Yeah,
real life. Yeah. Art imitates life, so that's what
exactly.
True.
Yeah.
So there's one other thing.
Okay.
So I don't know how rough of a segue this is going to be, but there's one thing that I wanted to mention. About something that happened this week, even though technically it was on the weekend because it was just yesterday. But
okay,
I feel like it was a culmination because last week, I guess was just a rough week as far like emotionally for me, just like working there and kind of the stress of like obviously nobody gives a shit about protocol or safety. Like so many people just like they'll just eat right in front of each other like while on set and stuff, and they'll all cluster together and just. All these little things that like it's like the death by 1,000 cuts kind of a thing where I was starting to get so sick of it, and I was just like, man, like what, like, like it wasn't enough to like push me over the edge where I'm like I gotta quit, but it was just really rough, and so on the weekend I was like going to buy snacks or something, right? Like I was getting like chips and ice cream and stuff, and I went to Walmart, and then they just didn't have the right ice cream, so on the way back I was going to a Shoppers that's near my place, and I'm driving into the parking lot, and I gotta like set up the scene mentally, like the map of it. It's a parking lot that had a lot of free spaces, but the direction where I was going, there was nothing but cars except for one spot. So I drive into the one spot, and there's an open space in front of that one spot. So naturally, what you do when you drive is you want to be able to just drive out. You don't want to reverse if you don't have to.
Yeah, you
so
pull
I
through.
pull through.
Avi.
Just as I'm doing it,
someone trying to pull in?
Someone tries to pull in.
No, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, on my side, nothing but cars except for the one spot where I went. On that guy's side, nothing but free spots on either side of me. But he wants to go exactly where I am. And then so he just stops. And so like the front of his car is like in the spot and half of my car is in. So I'm like, I think between the two of us, I got this spot. So I'm just sitting there looking at him. And this is like a 40-year-old man with his wife in the car. And both of us are like not moving. And then so I just put it in park. And then he's still not moving. Like I'm clearly making a point where I'm like, I'm not moving.
Oh, this is good.
And so he's like not moving. And I'm like, are you seriously going to make me do this? So I open the door. I'm not going to get into a physical altercation with him. I'm fucking scared of COVID and shit, right? But I'm just going to confront him where I'm like, sir, can you please move? So the second I open my door, he just immediately starts to like pull away and like, like it was like a game of chicken. And so he's like, oh, and so he just went beside me. But he did it really slowly. Like he pulled out slowly and then went beside me. So I'm like, I don't know if I trust this guy. Like, what if he's going to key my car or something? Like he seems mad, So I get out of the car and so I pull forward, turn the engine off, get out of the car, and then I just kind of stand there and wait. And so he like parks it and then he's just staying in the car. And I'm like, he's waiting in the car for me to leave. And so I don't trust that. So I'm literally waiting. And then so finally he decides to get out knowing that he's going to have to confront me. Like I'm not going to go away. Mm-hmm. So he comes out and I'm just like, hey, sir, are you okay? And he's just like, hey, why'd you have to go there? And I'm like, it's fine. I just want to make sure you're okay. Like, are you okay with the situation? And he's like, well, you could, like, why didn't you just go over there? That was not nice what you did. I'm like, I know, but also what you were doing. You have free spaces everywhere. You could just go there. I just want to make sure that you're going to be okay. And he was just like, no, well, you shouldn't have done that. You should have gone back there. I'm like, I know, but I already had the spot. I don't know what to tell you. This is such a minor inconvenience, like you didn't have to hold that position. And he's like, yeah. Well, I just, and I could tell he was like trailing off. Like he didn't want to do anything. So I was like, okay, I don't think he's going to keep my car. So then I went off. But like I had to make sure. Like I literally didn't trust this guy. Like he just had like this look in his eyes where he was like it seemed like. By the way,
he was from somewhere else. I was detecting an accent there.
He sounded Italian.
Yeah.
Oh! I was doing an accent. Yeah, I don't know. I think he was like Eastern European, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, man, like I don't know why you had to do this. Like, why did you do this? And I'm just like, because I got the spot, motherfucker. Like I don't know what to tell you, boy. Like you gotta move on. It's like a New York mentality. It's like everyone's like ready to fight, but they're all too busy to fight. So you just move on. It's like I don't know why you're holding on to this. Like just move on, man. Come on. And then, but it's weird because it's like that's the most aggressive I've ever been. Like I feel like Toronto's changing me. Like the busy city life. It's like you have to be aggressive to survive, kind of thing, right?
You have to.
It's like I'm not gonna be pushing. Fuck you, man. I got this fucking spot, Because I'm never that way. I was born and raised in Burlington.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a damn.
There's space for everyone. Everyone's polite, even though it's always passive aggressive. Nobody wants to fight. Everyone's got a space. So to move to Toronto where people are aggressive, it's such a strange shift. Where it's like this is city life now. Like people honk at you if you're take a millisecond to start turning. Like you're stupid. Like it's weird. It's people are just more forthcoming, which
honestly it makes me feel so much better because you know how like I react to certain situations. Like get away from my car. Like I'll call them. Like I don't play that. Like, so I'm just like wow okay. Like it's nice to hear that.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like not.
I'm just not taking this shit. Yeah.
Going into I think sometimes too, like with elders, they just assume that everything is just theirs. Like, no, sorry, you can keep it, hit reverse, keep going forward if you want. But I'm not moving.
Yeah. It's funny you say elder.
I love
40 is adult, but yeah, still. I'm assuming his age, but yeah. And the funny thing too is, I went in to get ice cream. It came back, and like his wife was still sitting in the car. Like she was just kind of waiting for him to do his thing. And so I get back in the car. I'm kind of like checking to see if it was keyed. I'm like, no, my car's okay. So I was like, I'm good to go. But it's just kind of funny that the whole thing happened because, and then also too after the fact, at the time I was like, man, that was so fucking cool that I did that. Like I stood up for myself. That's awesome. Then after I was like, wait, I don't know if I was in the right. Like maybe I was kind of being a dick or being aggressive. But I was like, honestly, I think neither of us were in the right. I think that guy was being a dick and I was also being a dick. Like, I'm sure his wife was like, why did you have to do that, man? Like, why are you being, like, so aggressive? Like, to her husband.
The thing is, remember the situation with the McDonald's thing when I got out of the car? It's the same thing. Sometimes it's like, I don't know if it's great in us where it's like you just want to hold your ground. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes
sure.
It's just one of those things. Yeah, it's like, and especially if you're normally always polite. Like I feel like I'm always like. Yeah. I feel like pre-Toronto, I feel like I kind of have to emphasize this. Pre-Toronto, I would always like, if there's like a merging lane, I'll always let the person in, you know, like I'll always wait, let them go. Or if there's someone walking, even though it's a green light and they're just crossing a street, I'm still like, yeah, it's okay, you can go. And like, I come to a stop sign, all that kind of stuff. And now that I'm in Toronto, it's like, yeah, I just feel like I have to hold my ground a lot more than I used to. Where it's like, you can't give people an inch because they'll take a mile. So everyone will take advantage. If you show us like a sliver of kindness, they'll fucking like just like absorb it. Like it's crazy. Like take complete advantage. So it's like this new fold of my life where it's like I'm having to enter this like sicko mode of like going hardcore. Or just like no motherfucker. Like it's like I gotta start getting aggressive. It's weird. I don't know. Hopefully I'm still a nice person. Aside from just traffic rules and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, so like let's wrap it up. And in that sense, I want to say from what Joe was mentioning, like in certain situations, like don't feel that because like you know how you went home and kind of contemplated, it's like at the end of the day, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, and you have to kind of just self-adjust and say, you know what, for the next time, you can hold your ground, but maybe if it's this, say for instance, it was an older lady or something like this, that in the spot's a little closer for her to walk or something like this, where it's a little bit
keep it balanced. One time, one time be aggressive, then the next time kind of let the other person get it, then the next time be aggressive. Yeah.
Right. It's the same thing.
Equivalent exchange kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. Take time for yourself because I think these times like we're all kind of like bottled up and like that's why for me it's like I don't see somebody wearing I ain't saying nothing. I'm not trying to hassle anybody. I'm not trying to stress anybody out right now. Everybody's a little off edge. Everybody's bottled, so it's just like just be as kind as you can. Remember I was telling you the one time I went into the grocery store and I like was yelling at the guy because he asked me about my mask and he's not asking anybody else. And I made like this huge scene, but it wasn't really a big scene. It was just me. It's just like some people just walk in so freely.
Right, and then he stops you. It's like,
and then it's like me because I'm younger and like whatever. That's the way I felt. It doesn't necessarily mean that because I'm younger or whatever. He asked me specifically, but there was 3 other adults that went in before me, and the door didn't even have closed behind me yet for me to walk in, and he just let them walk in, and I didn't hear anything from them, and then he asked me specifically, stops me and goes, "Oh, you didn't answer anything." I go, "Well, these people all just walked in, so I'm just following suit. Why are you only asking?" He goes, "Oh, well, they said yes to the previous people," which is a complete lie because I'm right behind.
Right. So it's like,
people, I don't understand. Yeah. Like I don't get why, but you know what I mean. It's just I went home and was like, that was so stupid for me to argue with some stupid little 16-year-old from the grocery store that is probably stressed out right now because he's been asking everybody the questions. People have been hollering at him. People have been
just emotionally exhausted. Yeah.
It's like time for that shit either. Like I'm trying to hit up the bank. Like see ya.
Yeah, true. But yeah. So that is a good point to end on where it's like, you gotta have a little give and a little take.
Absolutely.
And
pick your
now this is something that I don't normally ask this, or at least it's a kind of on and off thing, but I am curious, Thaddeus, if you were to have any parting words of wisdom to give to the audience about living a day-to-day kind of life, whether that's specifically situational to the COVID era that we're in, or just a general kind of life philosophy, what do you normally like bring with you whenever you think about how to live a daily life versus like your overall life? It's like, what's kind of a daily thing of advice that you would think of?
Well, I guess treat every conversation like your last one.
Nice. That's a really good one. Yeah, I don't think I've heard that.
Yeah, it's like, so I think the impression you want to leave with people, make sure it's one that you're okay with. You never know, anything can happen, and especially in these times, it can be the next day they might not be here, or you might not be here, and then that's what they'll remember you with. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, very good. That's very wise, actually.
Thank you.
That is really good. All right, awesome. Well, hey, thank you for being here, and thank you, invisible audience members, for watching / listening, depending on wherever you're seeing this, whether it's on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts. But thanks for
being here. I'm not that.
Sorry, quick question. So you said there's another. Oh wait, Is it so secret that we don't mention it?
Oh, we can't even talk about it? No. We can
Okay.
talk about it here.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I have a separate series called the Jovan Secret Podcast. I
Yeah.
haven't done one, I feel like, since like May or June or something like that. But
Okay.
yeah. That's a side project that we can, I guess, talk about off air. But
Okay.
if anything, the die-hard fans that are going to be listening to Unplugged might now know who my next guest is. So maybe I should do some kind of bait and switch where I like interview someone else and then go back to that's funny. But yeah. That we will continue our communications. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
all right.
we would love to have you again on.
Oh, for sure.
Anytime.
Thanks for having me, guys.
These times are just a little hard, and so it's nice to just be able to communicate with other people and to chat and just to get the brain flowing, and like even just that situation, it's like it must just feel so nice to get it out. You know what I mean? And just to hear some feedback.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah.
You're fine, man. It's all good. Like, I think you're very kind for even sometimes it may even like come off as like aggressive, always waiting and stuff. But you handled it very well, and you were very nice, and you just wanted to make sure he was fine.
He wasn't, I did. Yeah. I literally didn't want to leave him thinking that I was like trying to fight him. Because if anything, that's what I'm thinking, is that me stepping out of the car probably scared the shit out of him. Like I was literally about to like just punch his window or something. It's like, no. I was just stepping out to like ask him like, sir, I have this spot. Can you please move over? Yeah.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah. It's a new beginning and all that jazz.
And to continuations and literally everything. Everything.
Leave it in the past, man. Leave it in the past. It happened. It happened.
To 2001 and to 2021, like whatever year you have to find yourself.
2041.
Yeah. Okay, so we will see you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.
Okay.